Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Fed Up, your no BS nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Marie, certified personal trainer and nutrition specialist, working with clients since 2014. After swimming up diet culture's bullshit stream for so many years, I am fed the absolute up with how miserable it's making people feel when we are supposed to be getting healthier. This podcast is here to help you gain your sanity back so you can stop yo-yoing once and for all and finally learn how to trust yourself so you can enjoy food again without fear or shame while still getting to your health goals. My aim is to teach you how to detect the BS in not just the food and diet industries, but in all realms of life, because I know that, like me, we are all just a little fed up. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hello. Thank you so much for coming on back to episode 64 of the Fed Up podcast. Oh my gosh, how the heck did we get to episode 64 already? This is so exciting because I am actually recording in a new studio. And by studio, I mean it is no longer my studio log cabin and me sitting on my bed with a TV stand and a couple of books piled up so that the microphone is at my face level. But now we are at a desk in a spare bedroom in my second bedroom of my apartment with my boyfriend. Yay! So we moved a couple of hours away for school for the next couple of years, and I have like a real place. Not that my log cabin was not a real place, but if you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen the log cabin vibes, and we are in a real apartment now with, eggshell walls. So if it sounds a little different, I don't know if it will or not. Hopefully my AI optimization can get rid of echoes and all of that background noise. So you may have never heard cows mooing before, but there were cows mooing before. So you probably won't hear that anymore. So it's going to be a little bit different. I did wait until my partner left the house this morning because I was like, I cannot record a podcast in front of somebody or if they're in the other room, and he would not mind. He'd put on headphones and do his own thing. But I definitely have to re-record my intros 3 or 4 times because it just, it takes a minute to get the vibes right and just get yourself on track. So I was like, leave the house, go to the gym. I need to record a podcast. So today, episode 64, I want to talk about not just people becoming quote unquote too soft. We hear this a lot, oh, people used to be so hardy and we can handle so much. And now this next generation is so soft. And I want to talk about that because I have 2 thoughts. Are people too soft now? And they avoid challenge, they avoid tough love, they overemphasize empathy, compassion. And then people are thinking, no, you need to just do it. Life is not easy and you need to just become more disciplined, become tougher. And yes, I agree with this to a certain point. I think it's so important in today's world to build our capacity. And I do think sometimes this overemphasis on compassion and being kind and being easy on yourself and quote unquote soft girl era. I think that's so important because the hustle culture just has forced us for so long to be work. And the trope of, the man who never took a vacation with his family. Oh, I'll vacation when I retire. Then he retires and he has a heart attack, right? So my thoughts are, yes, people are maybe quote unquote, we have reduced capacity because we live in a much safer environment. We live a lot longer. We have a lot of tools that make life easier than maybe back in the 1800s. Sure. However, I also think that the 21st century, we have just pushed into this millennia of hustle, and there's no leisure, there's no grace, there's no compassion because we're also bombarded with this idea of you just want it hard enough and enough. Wait, that's a bad sentence. You just want it bad enough. You have to want it bad enough. And if you don't, then you're just not working hard enough. That's what I meant to say. So often people will hire a coach because you're like, I'm too easy on myself. I need someone to kick me in the rear. Yes, sometimes this is the case, right? But a lot of my clients who come to me like, oh, I just need you to like discipline me. And I'm thinking, I can't do that for you. And also, I have this other thought that I don't hear talked about very often because it's always either like you're too easy on yourself or, just hustle, hustle, hustle. Or it's like, yeah, go into the soft girl era and like relax and stop working so hard and hustle culture and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think there's a balance, but I also think when it comes to fitness and nutrition, we have this idea that we have to be so disciplined and things should be so tough and we have to hate it in order for it to be a good workout. Or a good meal plan is 180 degrees the opposite of what you're currently eating. And people will come to me with this idea of, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy. I just need to like go to the gym more and I eat like shit and blah, blah, blah. And then I ask them, oh, well, what are you doing? And they're like, well, I'm doing, 2 days a week here and I'm doing a yoga class, but like I need to really do more. Or, oh yeah, well, I eat. And then they describe their diet and it's really well like well balanced. It's good food. They're eating some vegetables. They're also eating like some fast food and some pizza and they're going out to dinner with their family. Like to me, I'm actually really impressed with a lot of people's lifestyle. But two things are happening. Either this happens a lot where they will talk up the health habits that they have because you're trying to like impress your coach. It's almost like trying to win at therapy, right? And you might feel a little bit ashamed or you might feel like they're going to judge you. So you don't want to tell them that you eat fast food 4 days a week until like 45 minutes into the session. Then it's like the truth is coming out, right? Or weeks go by and it turns out you hired a trainer right when you were like eating really well and you again are making all these lifestyle changes. So your perception when you hire that trainer is, oh yeah, I've been doing all of these things. But then you do them for a month and then you go back to the regular habits and now you're like, oh, I've fallen off track. I just need to get back. So I have this conversation with clients so much because they are assuming that consistency, I've talked about this in previous podcasts, consistency means every single day, there's no breaks. There's no falling off the wagon. I'm on my meal plan or I failed, right? It's that black or white thinking. And sometimes like you hire a coach and you're like, you need someone to kick you in the butt. Great. That's accountability. I can give you accountability, but I'm also going to try to give you the tools and set your plan up in your life so that you're actually successful. And I feel like most people, when they hire a coach, the coach is giving them this insane plan. Or maybe you just downloaded a plan online, or you're trying to do Whole30 or 75 Hard or some other type of quote unquote program. And then you're like halfway through or even a week in or whatever it is, or you just have the plan and then you're like, this is so intense. And then you back completely off or you completely quote unquote fall off track or fall off the wagon, right? This isn't sobriety though. This isn't like you relapsed if you miss a workout. All right. This is not the same thing as, again, quitting something and then you have a moment of weakness and you relapse. And then now you're like an addict again. Like, no. That's not at all what this is. You can have things that are quote unquote off plan without being off plan, right? And for me as a coach, I want to see where your life is at now and what changes can we make that are actually doable that you barely notice. And often people are like, well, that's not enough. Like, oh, you're telling me I could just like eat breakfast and I'm telling you I have a bagel and you're telling me that's okay. I thought you were going to be like, no, it has to be an egg white omelet or Greek yogurt. Like it has to be something else. But you've been eating a bagel and cream cheese like every day of your life for the past 10 years for breakfast. How can we actually make that better? Let's add a fruit. Let's add some protein. Let's add something, but like eat your bagel 100%. And a lot of times people are like, okay, I've got to cut the carbs. So I'm going to cut my bagel out. Even though that's what you love, that's what you enjoy, that's what the habit is. Instead of figuring out like have your bagel and have 2 eggs or have your bagel and a protein shake, have your bagel and a small cup of yogurt, add something to it, not revamp it and turn it on its head and make it completely foreign to you. And I think a lot of clients are trying to get a coach to almost like validate their sabotage and validate their self-worth. And a lot of times coaches will do this, right? Well, you're not disciplined enough. You just have to do this more. And I'm not that coach. And I've had people ask me like, well, don't I just have to do it? And I'm like, yes, but like everyone else is already telling you that you're a piece of shit. You're already telling yourself that you just need to try harder, that you're like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Why can't I just eat an egg white omelet in the morning? Personally, I hate egg white omelets. No, thank you. I would rather have a full egg. I would rather have it maybe fried in a little bit of oil or butter and then like put on some toast or scrambled eggs or whatever it is. Like, make your eggs how you enjoy it. And if you're not going to eat egg whites, don't force yourself to eat egg whites at this point. What I've kind of done is like, I don't really like plain egg whites, gross. But sometimes I'll bake and I will separate egg yolks and egg whites. And now I have an egg white or two left over. I might throw that into my omelet the next day, right? So there's ways to incorporate those little quote unquote healthy habits. But the mainstream version of what you think, or what oftentimes clients will think is like the epitome of health or the epitome of like what they should be doing, is so ridiculously over the top that of course you feel like a failure. Of course you feel like you're going too easy on yourself because you're just like living your life and you're comparing yourself to the picture perfect bodybuilder, fitness influencer who is like prepping all of their meals and it has protein, carbs, and fat and fiber and everything. And it's like you're tracking it all and they never go out to eat. They also don't have 2 children. They're also not 45. They're also just, they don't live your life regardless of what it is. So when I have a client and they want tough love, sometimes that tough love is not me being like, well, track your food. Otherwise, you don't want it bad enough. Track your food. Otherwise, you're never going to lose weight. My tough love is, why do you feel like you have to track your food to know what to eat? And then all of a sudden, we're talking about how your mom, your almond mom, dragged you to Weight Watchers at 10 years old, and you've been weighing and tracking your food since then. And you have never listened to your body. You've never even really looked or enjoyed or experienced food because everything is metric. That's a terrible way to live. And it's not because you don't want it bad enough, right? So you've been conditioned to track. Well, when you don't track or when you have a stressful day, you might have fast food or you might have more food than you intended because you've actually been like trying to eat less and less and less because they have to fit in these certain boxes or it has to be a certain amount of grams. And me telling you track your food or else is not helpful for that client, right? Instead, I might say, how about we get rid of the tracking for a minute and start learning like what foods you enjoy. And now when you learn foods you enjoy, you might go overboard because you're like, well, now I can have anything that I want. What do you mean? Well, I had ice cream and I just ate so much ice cream. I'm like, well, did you enjoy eating that much ice cream until you felt sick? Well, no. Okay, so why did you feel the need to eat all of that ice cream? Well, because it's so good and sugar is addictive. Is it? Or is it because maybe you're still thinking you're not supposed to have ice cream and you've got to finish it right now so that you don't have it tomorrow? You've already kind of ruined today, so let's just finish it off and then tomorrow you'll be better. You might not even consciously be thinking that exact sentence in your head, but the feeling and like the behavior and kind of the underlying message that you are sending yourself is like, get it out of the house. Maybe we need to tackle that. It's not the ice cream, it's your treatment of yourself during the ice cream, after the ice cream, and even pre-ice cream. Like, you're not really even fitting ice cream into your day, but you love ice cream. So then you just end up binging the entire pint, or you end up out of control, or you feel guilty, whatever it may be. Me as a coach, personally, I'm not the coach to be like, well, track your ice cream, weigh it, and you can only have this amount of grams. You can only have a fourth of a cup, only follow the serving size. Because then what happens is people either avoid the ice cream altogether because they can't do that, or they have their scoop and then they end up going and having more scoops, or they end up like licking their bowl and licking the spoon. And like that type of mentality and behavior is the problem. It's not the ice cream. So my version of tough love is actually like, have ice cream every single day this night, Have it 3 times a fucking day. I will tell clients to have a sweet treat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And after day 3, they're like, I'm over it. I'm over the chocolate. I haven't even touched it in 3 more days because I realize like I can actually have this every single day. And that's the tough love, to get you to actually eat things that you are not comfortable eating so that you can be comfortable eating an appropriate amount. It's so backwards from what every single mainstream coach is telling you that sometimes I do get that client that is not going to vibe well with me because they're still just like, but I weigh everything and I track everything. And like, if I don't, I'm not going to lose weight. And like, what do you mean? And they don't really trust the process because it's scary and it's undoing a lifetime of conditioning, not just from your parents, but from everything in America and like Western society, diet culture. And not just diet culture, but the food environment we live in. It's not because you don't have willpower. It's because they stuck a McDonald's in your parking lot. Like, you have to understand that, yes, there is personal accountability. Yes, you need to be quote unquote accountable for your own actions. But understand the context of what's driving your actions. It's not just like you pulled it out of thin air. Someone taught you how to eat very young, before you were even conscious of yourself. That matters. That is where I'm a little Freudian, if if you will go into that route, where yeah, how you were fed as a child makes a lot of has a lot of influence on how you eat as an adult. Whether it was childhood, teenage years, after that, it matters. And I'm not going to tell my clients they have their priorities wrong because they are a victim of circumstances, and not even a victim, but like, context matters. So I want to give you kind of 4 things that I just want to leave you with here. Number 1, you're already so hard on yourself. You know what you should be doing, but you don't quite understand why you don't or why you can't. And then you feel bad and you think it's because you're not disciplined enough or you're not motivated enough. You're lazy. Number 2, often what people think they should be doing is not really what they should or need to be doing at all. Like I said, I know I should cut carbs, but no, there's not even a lack of discipline that's the issue. The carbs are not the issue. The issue is that you think you need to be cutting carbs and you haven't been able to build a meal plan that includes carbs because of diet culture. Number 3, I am often the only voice of compassion they've ever heard. Marketing, coaches, their own brains tell them that they are the worst. You are the worst. And instead, I say, it's okay that you want to eat a cookie and you eat the cookie. Cookies are great. You're human. And it isn't even that the cookie is the problem or that it's the end of the diet or even that it's off your diet plan or that it means you're undisciplined. I want to teach you how to incorporate cookies into your meal plans. Number 4, often for the first time ever, people are allowed to integrate healthy habits into your lifestyle without being shamed by your coach. So if you can be honest with me about your maybe not so healthy habits, fast food, binging cycles, your mental side of the battle of food, because I don't require you to eat clean and track your food and be like at a bodybuilder level of discipline, people actually end up improving their habits for real because they're not hiding them anymore. So I want to leave you with this. Shame does not work to change your behavior. It's not about being too easy and too soft on yourself. But when you actually give yourself compassion and when you have a coach that gives yourself compassion, you are actually able to change the behavior that maybe you're not so proud of. So in other contexts, I do believe maybe our modern safe world has made us a little softer, a little less capable to handle extreme duress. Sure. But humans are still fucking tough. And I'm never going to tell a client that you're just too easy and you need to try harder. I'm not going to teach it from you need to be more disciplined and follow the plan. Because you're already telling yourself that, right? So, what if true growth comes from when someone feels safe, seen, capable, not ashamed and afraid to tell their coach what's really going on? What if true growth and quote unquote discipline comes from allowing yourself to change how you think about discipline and how you're talking to yourself about it? So I hope this just leaves you with some thoughts and some considerations that maybe it's not about being in your soft girl era and now you have to be like the disciplined hustle culture girl, but you can kind of find that middle ground of, okay, maybe I need to give myself a little more grace so that I can actually learn what's driving my behavior. And then I can actually make meaningful changes, right? So if this sounds like something you want to be involved into, I am taking online clients. So feel free to send me a message. No obligation if you just want to ask me questions and chat for a minute. But I am always willing to walk you through this, or again, just kind of see where you're at and see maybe if we're meant to work together. So hope this helps. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will chat at you next week. Thanks so much for being here, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please screenshot and tag me over on Instagram or leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening from. Your support means the world to me and only helps me get the No BS news out to more people. If you're interested in working with me in nutrition or personal training, check out my programs and courses on my website at KaylaMarieFitness.com and on Instagram at KaylaMarie_fit. See you next week.